Hey, this is John Pettersson from Kubb Club, and you're watching Kubb Talk.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 4. Tonight we get to hear from John Pettersson of the Kubb Club. He's going to tell us all about that great club there, as well as the West Coast Kubb Championship. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage. This is Kubb Talk. Hey, what's going on, John? How are you?
Hey, good, Kyle. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. It's a dreary, cold Arkansas day right now, or evening, I should say. It's like 5:30 here. You guys are a couple hours behind us, right?
Yep. Still mostly sunny out.
Yeah, nice.
Mostly warm.
Mo-
Yeah.
Were you able to play any Kubb today?
Not today, but yesterday. This weekend I had an old friend from England come to town, and when I asked him what he wanted to do, he's like, I want to play Kubb.
Yeah.
Because I got him a set when I came to visit him a couple years ago, and he's been playing in his backyard and loving it and following, knowing that I'm really into it and wanted to get together. And so I got some of the dudes together and we went to the park, had some beers, and played some Kubb. He was really good, but he had, if you're not involved in established Kubb, organized Kubb, he could be forgiven for not knowing some of the rules. It was interesting to see what he had picked up, what he had started playing with his kids at his place, and he was psyched to learn some of the way we do it, and of course we had fun because it's Kubb.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dadgummit. Is that recording? I'm not sure if I got any of that. I think I did.
Okay.
So let's see. Yeah, I think I got that. All right. Anyways, I can just edit it if not. What was I gonna say? There was a question I had about something. I don't know. So tell people where you're from for those that aren't familiar with John Pettersson. Tell us all about yourself. Where are you from?
So initially, when I was young, I was born and grew up as a young person in outside Detroit, Michigan. Then moved to the East Coast, sort of middle school time, and grew up there, lived there, lived in New York for a while, and then kind of on a whim decided to move out to California. Had some friends who had recently moved out. My sister-in-law had just moved out, and let's go try it for a little bit, and that was 13 years ago. So we're here and outside of Los Angeles in a little town, South Pasadena, right next to the LA city line. But it's a nice little small town, kind of small town feel, little school district, nice people.
Nice. Anytime I hear Pasadena, I always think of The Big Lebowski. Whenever the dude calls Walter and he's like, "Pick up, man," and Walter picks up and he's like, "We got to go to Pasadena." And I mean, I've never been to LA, so I don't really know, the reference of like, where it is in relation to where the dude is. But it just, I don't know, anytime I hear Pasadena, I always think of that one kind of obscure line from The Big Lebowski.
Well, I can't remember. I love that movie, but is that where the other Lebowski lives?
Yeah, I think that's where the Big Lebowski lives. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
The other Jeffrey Lebowski. Yeah. So, how were you introduced to Kubb? How and when were you introduced to this game that we've both come to know and love?
So, one of our friends here in town was in New York, named Joe Zenas, who sort of ended up being the godfather of West Coast Kubb out here, the Johnny Appleseed. Was in New York City, of all places, on business, and had some time between meetings, I guess, and was in Bryant Park, where they have and still have some games set up. One of which was Kubb, but he'd never seen it before, and he enjoyed it, and went home and did some research. Came home, and he's a woodworker, built a set, started trying to figure out the rules with a couple guys, and realized how fun it was. Realized that there's this community of people, and mostly in the Midwest, but pretty active online about who are really into this game, and there are tournaments, and there's a national championship, and let's do this and let's learn this, and this is fun. So started getting friends together and playing, and this is before I was involved. I think they kind of roped me in shortly after their first visit to Eau Claire, which I think they probably had been playing for 2 months, and then were kind of like, hey, let's go to Wisconsin. That sounds fun. So they went, obviously learned a ton about the game, came back, and really started in earnest recruiting friends and, people we know around town to come out in the park and play every couple of weeks or something. And that's sort of when I first heard of it and first started playing it. And that was probably like the fall of 2015, I think, and picked up enough pace here, as the fall and winter came around that, we decided to sort of have the West Coast Championship tournament just because why not? Because they had been to nationals and it had been so fun and figured out, the format, met enough people. As you know, the Kubb community is so helpful and friendly. Like, didn't take long to meet people, especially if they're from these guys from California, probably the only people who flew into national championships, like kind of like easy to talk to, they were received, with interest at least, and got to know a bunch of the guys and sort of really ramped it up from there, and it sort of spread from there to a larger group. And, by the time our tournament came around in April that year, I think we probably had 20 teams or something.
Wow.
Not huge, but enough for it to be a fun day.
Yeah. So that was in 2015 was when you held the first West Coast Kubb Championship?
2016, I think, would be the that next spring.
Okay, yeah.
I think was when the first contingent went out to nationals and then really started picking things up here. So 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 16, because this will be our fifth, this April 19th will be our fifth West Coast Championship.
That's awesome. I know whenever Christopher Jones was on and I asked him about tournament experiences, he said that he just loves going out there to play in that tournament, and that's something that he looks forward to every year. So that's...
Oh, yeah. I heard that in his interview with you. That's great to hear. We love having those guys. They've been coming for several years now, him and Brian and Kyle. Just last year, Chris played with Damian Moore, and narrowly got knocked off. They took second place, so they did really well, but they lost to Evan and Michelle Fitzgerald in the finals. That was exciting.
Yeah, you guys
both beat them and were beaten by them during the day, so it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Good guys, though.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think if I remember looking at the post correctly or whatever story I was reading, it seems like maybe you guys laid sod like 3 or 4 days before the tournament happened, so that way y'all had a nice bed of sod.
So, yeah, it was a fairly harebrained scheme that came together in the end. We had this park reserved for, I don't know, probably 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for our tournament. And as tournament time neared, we realized we had so many teams. The way we wanted to, the time we needed to spend for the seeding round and for the championship brackets and the other consolation brackets and so forth in the afternoon, we were running out of time that we had the park, and there might have been like softball practice or something coming on at 5. And we're like, okay, we always had this after party at Joe's house for anyone, all the participants after the tournament. He had this side yard that they were thinking about flattening and putting grass into at some point. And they sort of like realized that it would be a great little stadium area to have the finals in, and why not combine the after party with the final few matches? And so they kind of fast tracked the laying of the sod, and it probably wasn't fully ready to be played on. It made it through fine. But it was a sort of last minute call, and it ended up being great.
Yeah.
People were hanging out the windows of Joe's house, like watching down. They brought in some bleacher seating.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was
the
a
pictures.
more festive way to have it than being in the park. Park's fun, but it was a a nice turn of events.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, the pictures looked really neat. I remember seeing some of those pictures on Kuban, and I was like, man, that looks cool. Like, just nice, chill. It was very unique looking. That was neat.
Yeah, we got to tell Eric Anderson, so maybe he can do that. Everyone goes back to his house for finals at the
Yeah.
Nationals.
Yeah.
28 teams.
Right, there you go. So what's the hardest part you think about organizing this tournament? Um, Everybody always asks when we're going to host a tournament here in Arkansas and whatnot, and it'd be neat to do that someday. And I mean, honestly, I'd love to do that someday. But like, what do you think's the hardest part about it all?
Well, getting the pieces together the first time is probably the biggest challenge. We're lucky we've got people who are like, people who really get things done. Like Joe, who ran the league for a while and sort of was our league founder. He runs a company that has customer experiences like their job, and they do museums and theme parks and stuff. So like it was not hard for him to know how to make put a good event together. And we've got other people who are really like type A, get things done people. That helps. But once you get the formula done for the first one, figure out where you're going to have it, get whatever permits you need, figure out the software's been written. We just borrowed it. Like this, we use the same Des Moines classic format, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's a hugely complicated Excel spreadsheet that someone, I don't know if Chris Hodges made it or somebody from Des Moines made at some point, which if you ever see, everyone posts the pictures of the tournament bracket, the championship brackets and standings, on some computer screen or TV. Everyone uses the same thing, and they happily share it with everyone. So that you didn't have to reinvent the wheel there.
Right.
Once you figure out the logistics, and like I said, get the permits and figure out if you're going to have food or what's nearby. And there's not that many moving pieces. And once you have it done, at least for us, it's not that hard. Next year, you just do the same things again.
Right.
We should get the permit in time. And for us, the hard part is always not hard. Can be stressful part is attendance. Like you want for it to be a success, you want to have at least a bare minimum of teams. However you structure, whatever your expectations are, whatever you build it for, you hope people show up. And like anything else, people don't always register on opening day of the when you open the registration. A lot of people wait till like the week before. So it's kind of like, I think Kyle's coming. Let me give him a call. You coming? You want to register now? Let's try to make sure that you're going to have a full house or full enough to make it happen and make it fun. So that's always, as the event approaches every year, that's always kind of the thing we worry the most about.
Yeah.
It's, are all the people who we think are going to come? We've been really lucky. Since our very first tournament, we've had a considerable cadre of people coming in from the Midwest to I think even Chris Jones alluded to like escaping the snow, and that was sort of our hope of having it when we have it. So, being in Southern California, it's like, 75 degrees and sunny, knock wood, every tournament we've had so far has been like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are psyched to come to LA, do some other things, come play some Kubb. Our very first tournament, the very first one, we had Evan and Michelle Fitzgerald came, and Chris Hodges and his dad won the tournament the first time. And so the day before at that tournament, when they were out here, they put on a clinic. These are from Kubb United guys.
Yeah.
And showed a bunch of us how to drill properly. Like these things you don't know unless you really like researched it or been in a tournament with experienced players.
Yeah.
Baton strategies, drilling strategies, defining your roles on the team, like things you don't think about when you're just like having a beer or throwing wood in the backyard. So we've had, in terms of attendance, and as soon as they came, those guys, the first year, they sort of thankfully had a good time, went home, started telling people, and we've had all kinds of great folks and met so many awesome people that, we always see at nationals when we go to Eau Claire every summer, and interact with on social media. So it's such a community, as you know.
Yeah.
That we've, always got, there's two kind of concerns for us in terms of attendance for our tournament. It's like, who are we getting locally? Because we kind of know who, our club consists of, I don't know, 8 or 10 people who we know love the game, have played a lot.
Yeah.
And then, for our tournament at least, like my then 7-year-old daughter and her, like, this little boy in her class were a team. They were the Kubb Cougars. And so it's really open to all.
Yeah.
They actually had one win, which they were psyched about.
Yeah.
And then we've got, Chris Jones and Damian Moore, who are the opposite. They're just powerhouse Cougars, and it's a range of people we get, which is fun. Families that we have a couple families that don't play Kubb, I think, at all, except for when they come out to the tournament in April.
That's
they
awesome.
Have fun, get to see everyone from the community. It's good.
Yeah. And so I'm sure you got the dates set for this year's tournament. When is this year's tournament?
Yeah, Sunday, April 19th.
April 19th. Sunday, April 19th. Yeah. Cool. Do you know off the top of your head how many teams have already registered, or is it too early to tell?
Well, we haven't opened. Registration has not opened yet. So.
Oh, okay. All right. When will that open?
0 teams have registered.
0 teams. There you go. When does registration open?
That's a great question, Kyle. I will actually with that information.
Yeah.
No, I think we're just talking yesterday. We'll have to have our sort of organizers kickoff meeting in the next couple weeks and get things going. We have fields booked. It's happening. It's just a matter of, I think I got that information, date and location up on our website. We just got to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. So let's talk about the club. When was LA Kubb Club? Was that formed in like the 2015 type time frame by Joe?
Yeah, I think they first entered. I guess the first time they had to put a name to themselves when they went to Eau Claire, that 2015, I guess. They were the California Cougars, which no one's really psyched about that name, but it was, a differentiator, like, for us compared to the, whatever. And it sort of stuck. But then I think LA Kubb Club came into being maybe the next year when we had enough guys going to nationals where we needed 2 teams. And then we're like, oh, should we be a umbrella club with Team A and Team B? Like, started thinking about that in that way. It's not a membership club, so to speak. It's, it's like I think there are other clubs around where there might be some small dues that go towards league fees, or I don't know. We haven't been that organized in terms of getting that out there. We use it for marketing purposes in terms of putting out we have events every the first Sunday of every month. We have we've put together like 3 or 4 pitches in this local park, and anyone can come, beginners, pros, experienced Cougars.
Yeah.
Sort of a fun, bring your own refreshments party.
Yeah.
For a couple hours on a Sunday. And so we use that for, our social media presence, and it might be nice at some point to officially have an official membership, perhaps with some official dues. And we've certainly been thinking about, in recent years, some kind of league play. I think maybe even we communicated, I think I asked you about it at one point. I saw you guys posting some kind of organized league activities where you are, and, the logistics of trying to make that work.
Yeah. Yeah, we had like a like a scramble league that we did for 6 weeks, and it was fun. It was a good way to have something somewhat organized, but also in a format to where you could get new people playing and competing just along with people that have been playing longer. So it was a good way to incorporate all skill levels that way. And I think a lot of it I took from St. Paul Kubb Society. I just reached out to those guys. It's like, what are y'all doing? Because they've definitely gotten their stuff together. They know how to put on a league and keep everybody involved and whatnot. So
great dudes. We love those guys. We started every year that we've been going out to nationals, which is 4 for me, 5 for the other guys. We always fly into the Twin Cities, and I don't know. I think the first year maybe we just found them on Twitter, and we land at noon or something like that, and we'll head right over to the Summit Brewery where it was just their home base, and play all afternoon with those guys, and it's become like a really fun annual tradition. And we got to know those guys in their awesome spot. I mean, I'll circle back with you offline later about the scramble, because that sounds like a great format, bite-sized format. It's like
right.
Getting someone to commit to a months-long league is it's a commitment that all of us, many of whom have little kids or bigger kids and family. The time commitment is an issue, but I'd love to be able to put together something that's a little more laid back, or at least short in term. And anyway,
yeah, that'd be cool.
I always think, though, speaking of those St. Paul guys and what they've got going on, and the Eau Claire Kubb Club, Kubb League, which I've talked to those guys about too. One thing we don't have here is a bar or restaurant with a lawn.
Yeah.
Like between the climate and the cost of real estate where we are here, like you just don't have, like, there's no backyard at a bar.
Yeah.
We went to this place when we were trying to kill some time in Eau Claire, Heartbreakers, which is where they have their it's just outside of town in Eau Claire. It's where they have a lot of the Eau Claire Kubb League play. And it's a perfectly fine restaurant bar, but like a giant lawn in the back.
Yeah.
You could probably fit 10 pitches.
Wow.
Like, where you can just, and that lends itself so much to making it accessible for people who want to go out. Maybe they want to play, maybe they don't want to play, but here's this thing.
Yeah.
Even around here, people don't even have yards for the most part.
Wow. Yeah.
Big enough for a pitch.
Yeah.
I have a front yard where I can fit, it's probably 10 by 5 meter. Like, I can just fit a pitch in my front yard. And it's people don't have a ton of grass, and they don't have a ton of property here. And the bars and restaurants don't have it. So I'm always jealous when I go places like there where the St. Paul guys play. They have the back of this brewery, this brew pub. It's just like perfect. You couldn't design it better for playing Kubb. You can put, I don't know how many pitches they could line up if they want there in the back. Steps away from the bar where you can go get your next beer. It's like such a fun gathering place,
Yeah, we were pretty fortunate. The where we were playing at was at a local brewery here in North Little Rock called Diamond Bear Brewing Company, and they have a lot that is, I don't know, maybe an acre or so that's right there next to the brewery. And so I went and talked with Russ Melton, the president of Diamond Bear, and I was like, hey, here's this game, and here's what we're wanting to do, and what do you think? And he was super cool with it, and so it worked out in our favor to be able to definitely host there. And we'd show up, and I'd kind of walk through the brewery or the tap room and be like, hey, anybody is interested in learning to play this obscure lawn game, come on out and we'll teach you how to play. And so
awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of just word of mouth type stuff to get new people involved, and it worked out. So I'm real thankful for that. Yeah.
That's great to have that resource for
Yeah.
sure.
One of the things I love about the LA Kubb Club is the Kubb history and pictures that you guys post on Facebook from time to time. Who's the brainchild behind that? How did that get started?
Those are mine. And they, at some point when we were like establishing, trying to figure out what we wanted to do with the club, I think it started out as like trying to drive traffic to our Facebook page with the ultimate goal of like getting people interested in us and register. Wanted to put something out there that's like add some content to the world that
Mhm.
that will obviously entertain people, but also draw attention to us and like help put us on the map and hopefully make a name for us in terms and get people to our tournament and to start playing Kubb.
Yeah.
The first one I saw, I forget exactly how it started. The first one I ever made was this Rolling Stones, and I think it's probably what started me on the whole photoshopping. The photoshopping the picture came first, and it was because there's like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and Bill Wyman like squatting in a grass field.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's how and I photoshopped some Kubbs in the middle, like they were all like conferring around like how to stand up a drill.
Yeah.
And then that was like a really short little description or story that went along with it. And I sort of caught the bug after that. I'm like, oh, each one I think that ends up being a freaking novel now. Like when I write something, it just if I start riffing on some ridiculous idea about Warren Buffett and he's playing Kubb, I crack myself up, and if anyone else gets a kick out of it, then that's great.
Yeah, I think they're hysterical. I just had a thought come to mind. It'd be kind of funny if you did something with Elon Musk and the shatterproof window of the Tesla truck. Like maybe it was busted by a misthrown baton.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and it's like it was that German guy. Do you see the dude the Swedish guy from Nationals who like threw like a bullet? There was one guy. He was playing.
Yeah.
He was playing with someone from Minnesota, I think, Ryan, and he was really good. But I have never you had to clear the space behind the pitch on the opposite end when he was going to throw because it was so fast.
Yeah.
He threw bullets. So I love that idea.
Yeah, I think it's super fun. I'm always real quick to click on it whenever I see that pop up in my Facebook news feed. I think you've done. Let's see. There's been an Abraham.
They're all on the website, by the way, on lakubb.org. I do archive them all.
Yeah, nice.
Sort of blog posts there.
Yeah. I definitely people need to check those out if they haven't already. Trying to think. There was a Abraham Lincoln one, right? What else? Spinal Tap. I think I've read that one.
Yeah. Punishment Kubb.
Yeah,
that's the unreleased album by Derek Smalls.
Yeah. No, that's hysterical. So when you get to play, do you get to play with the same group of guys whenever you go to tournaments and things like that? Is it the same 3 or 4 people on the team, or how does that work out? And then like, what's your role whenever you get to play tournaments and whatnot?
So we don't play that many besides our own tournament, and then we've been lucky enough to go to Eau Claire for several years now. Yeah, I've been on roughly the same team in each. I play with my friend Marshall here for our tournament. We've been playing together since the beginning, and damn it, one of these days we're going to podium. All these Midwesterners come and keep taking our medals away.
Yeah.
But I got a good feeling about 2020. So we play as a team there, the Kubik's Rubes, but for forever, I think I've been playing as the California Kubbers with my friend Julian Petrillo and Wayne Busick in Eau Claire. And this year, there's only 4 of us that could make it, so we absorbed our buddy Marshall on the team too. We had a blast. But yeah, it's primarily the same ones. Those are the tournaments I've really played. There was one up in San Francisco in Golden Gate Park like 2 years ago. There's a little group of Kubb playing guys up there. We met a couple of times. They came to nationals. They came to our tournament one year. I think they all have little babies now, so
yeah,
they're kind of falling off our radar at least.
Right. Yeah.
But, they had a fun tournament there, and it's the only one where I've ever won. A few of us went, and that was fun.
Yeah. Well, you guys cracked the top 10 at nationals a couple times at least, right?
Yeah. So I think we tied for 9th 3 years ago, tied for 5th 2 years ago, and tied for 9th again this last year. I don't know. You could probably figure out what exact place we came in, but that's what they say. T9.
Right.
If you don't make it into the quarterfinals, then you've tied for 9th. If you don't make it into the semis, you're tied for 5th.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta say we've been lucky and had an awesome time 3 times to Sunday.
Yeah. What's your strength as far as playing together in the tournament format? What's your role?
Oh, my personal role?
Mm-hmm.
I've ended up being the driller for some time on the team, which is great. I love it. And when the stars align, I can happen. It's a tough thing to be consistent with. But so I've been the driller, and then usually I'll throw last. 8-meter. My weakness is certainly the blasting. They call me Dr. John here because I'm surgical. Like there could be a perfect drill cluster of 7 Kubbs, and I will figure out a way to get the one in the middle down without any other ones going down. Like it's not. Some people can just toss the baton casually into this thing and they all scatter, fall. But it's not my. That's not my strength. I haven't figured that. I haven't cracked that nut yet.
Yeah. Couple more questions. What's your favorite thing about Kubb? Like and if there's a couple things about it, that's fine. You don't doesn't have to be like one specific thing, but what is it that makes you want to travel however many umpteen hours it is from South Pasadena to Eau Claire and play Kubb and take up a couple hours every month to teach people this game? What is it?
The number one thing for me is the camaraderie and the community. Like even within our group, like I'm now really good friends with a handful of people that I kind of knew who they were before, but would never have become so close with and really enjoy their friendship and spend a lot of time with. And then beyond our core group here in town, first of all, it's a fun guys' weekend away to hang out with people you like to party with and hang out with, and then meet all these other people with similar interests. And it's great, as could not be more different. There's such a variety of ages and backgrounds and all kinds of different people at like nationals, for instance. Everyone's super friendly. Everyone loves Kubb, and it's like really easy to learn things from people, meet them, learn about them, make new friends. So for me, it's almost the game is, I don't want to say it's secondary, but like I enjoy hanging out with these people and meeting new people and friendly people and going on. I don't know what my life would be like if I lived up there. I know. I was listening to your interview with Chris Jones and said like twice a month, and I think there are people who probably go to tournaments more than twice a month during the summer at least. I don't how things would pan out for me. I probably wouldn't be married anymore if that was the case. But at least for where we're at, with a few tournaments a year, where I can really, in the case of our own tournament, pretty much disappear for the weekend, just dealing with it. In the case of Eau Claire, really disappear for the weekend.
Yeah, right.
And go hang out. I cherish those times. It's great.
Yeah.
And then of course the game is fun, and I happen to be okay, pretty good at it. So
Yeah. Just
it's
icing on the
fun,
cake.
a fun way of spending time. I enjoy it. I don't know if it was like really hard. It wouldn't be so popular. The best thing about Kubb is that at least to be relatively good at it doesn't take more than a half an hour, right? I mean, you can, if you have some hand-eye coordination, you can do okay. Obviously, you can spend a lifetime, like golf, you can spend a lifetime perfecting it, getting really good at it, but the barrier to entry is low in terms of being able to compete or participate. And so it's fun to introduce it to new people. We play, in fact, starting on Tuesday this week, we are teaching I think it's 3-week intramural Kubb. We're running the intramural Kubb at the local middle school for like 6th graders. We've done it for 3 years now. They have, flag football and tennis and kickball, and they've asked us to come, for 3 weeks here in January and February, run the Kubb program. So it's great. God, we had like 40 or 50 kids show up the first couple of years.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
It's a little bit like cats, it's hard to get a ton of 12-year-olds to really care and pay attention. But, by the end of the program, some people certainly have caught the bug.
Yeah.
Others are happy to just throw sticks at each other. But,
right. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah,
even with 9th graders, it's kind of the same thing, trying to herd cats and keep them going. But it's a great game for sure. And yeah, I know. I made the comment the other day when I was talking with JP, I think, about the saying that Kubb brings people together and creates peace on earth. But when you're playing with 9th graders or maybe even 6th graders, there's a lot of trash talking going on. And it just cracks me up because I just kind of sit back and listen and watch them just go at it with one another. It's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important component of the game. Trash talk. You don't want to go over the line. It's all friendly, but makes it fun for sure.
Yeah.
I was a den leader from my kids' Cub Scout den about years ago. And I remember trying to introduce Kubb to, they must have been 7-year-olds or something like that. And holy cow, I'm lucky to have made it out without a concussion. I was like going to stand the king up, and there's batons whizzing by my head. Like, boys.
Right.
Everyone just put the wood down.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just chill out. So,
That's awesome. I guess last question, how can people keep up with LA Kubb? I know we'll do a shout out for lakubb.org. Yep, lakubb.org. I have that on here. I want to make sure I said it right. lakubb.org. What about the socials? Can they follow LA Kubb on the social media networks?
Yeah, we're older gentlemen, so we're primarily on Facebook. So LA Kubb Club on Facebook, and we have an Instagram account. I think it's LA Kubb Club, maybe LA_Kubb_club. I'm trying to keep both of those up, but those are the normal ways to do it. We also have, if anyone's interested in like hearing about the tournament when we get registration open and stuff, we have from our website. There's a contact us area where you can just get on our mailing list.
Okay.
We don't spam out people. We just sort of like when we have local Kubb in the Park type events, we'll send it to our local people, and obviously out to everyone when tournament time comes around. But
cool. Well,
thanks.
That's awesome. I can't wait for to find out when registration opens and help you guys promote that. And hopefully one of these days we can make it out that way too. I have very little experience in California, and um, I've never been to Los Angeles, so that would be cool. It'd be a fun time for sure.
Yeah, and bring the wives team too. We love
Yeah,
playing those guys, meeting those guys at nationals.
yeah,
They're
the
fun.
sleigh bays. Yeah,
It's like play base,
yeah.
right?
You've played. So LA Coupe has now played both teams from Central Arkansas Club. So that was cool. I was really excited just for the wives that they were able to play you guys, and that we were able to see all you guys again, because I think y'all were. I mean, I think we met at the bar that first year that we went. I think there weren't a whole lot of people still hanging out by the time we rolled into town at like 8 o'clock at night. But it seems like you guys were still there, and then we played in that bracket together that first year that we went, and then last
Yeah,
year
yeah,
with the girls being able to play y'all. So yeah, that was neat.
yeah. It's great. I love it. There's people, so many interesting people from all over the place.
Hmm. Cool.
Now
Well,
there's like it sells out now, right? You got to make sure we get on the registration right away.
yeah, yeah. The last 2, maybe even 3 years, I think, is what Eric was saying, that it's sold out at 128 teams. So, yeah, that's awesome just to see the growth of it. I'm already looking forward to going back this year. So that'll
Well,
be great.
you've seen the Eau Claire soccer park. I think there's room to grow if he can logistically pull it off.
Yeah,
You don't understand how like jealous we are when we every time we arrive there every year. We just look out and there's no place in a 200 miles from here, 500 miles from here, that has that much lush green grass just out there. Like
yeah,
it's amazing, and yeah, the park is big enough. He could go to 256 if he wanted to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe have to see what happens in the years to come. Who knows? Well, I won't take up any more of your time. I'll let you get back to your Sunday afternoon, and just appreciate talking with you, and getting the chance to get to interact with you at tournaments, and I got my LA Kubb Club. I don't know where my
Man,
camera's at. There it is. Hey, there we
but
go. But I'll tell you what, this must be a California large, because it's not an Arkansas large. That's for sure. I think I got the California fit, so we won't show much more than this right here. So if you decide to order an LA Coupe Club shirt, they run a little small. So, um, but no, it's cool. I
hey,
love I love like the
special
old
yours.
Dodgers.
Those are not available for order.
No?
Uh,
Oh, nice. It's a collector's item now, huh?
yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be among the great Coop personalities you've had on so far.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're able to do it, and just thanks for the support, and like I said, hopefully one of these days we can make it out to South Pasadena. But
Love to have you.
yeah, but if not, we'll definitely see each other in Eau Claire.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, man. Well, good talking with you, and like I said, I'll let you get back to your thing, and have a good week ahead.
Thanks, Kyle. You too.
All right, there it was, episode 4. Hope you enjoyed it. Like always, before we get out of here, I got a couple tournament announcements. So coming up this Saturday, February 8th, is the Captain Ken's Lopit Cube tournament in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I made an announcement about this last episode, but if you are unsure about your registration, go to wisconsincube.com, click contacts, and then you will see Eric's email link there. Just click that, and then you can shoot him an email if that's something you're still worried about. So that's this Saturday. Also, this Saturday in Ely, Minnesota, is the Ely Winter Festival Cube Tournament. And then February 22nd in Aaron, Wisconsin, is Cube on the Pond. All the information about these tournaments and more can be found on cubon.com, so go check it out. And until next time, we'll see you on the pitch.